Hi and welcome to my May video blog. Now at this time of year lots of things are organised by the local city council for tourists and for people who are interested in the history and the culture of Poznan. For example, this weekend is Noc Muzeów and this is the night of museums, and what the city does, they open up all the museums around Poznan and people can go and visit all through the night and it's for free. So you get loads and loads of people who wouldn't normally visit museums coming and seeing it and learning about the city. Now what they've also done this year, this is a new thing, is they're doing Noc Marki. And what this means in Polish is this is Night of Brands. And what they're doing is lots of the big companies and organisations in Poznan, for example Volkswagen, who have a big factory here, or Solaris buses, what they're doing is they're opening their doors to the public and giving tours around their places of work or their places of administration for people who are interested to find out more about these places. Now, one of the organisations that's taking part in Noc Marki is the City Council itself. And what you can see behind me, this beautiful building here, is part of the old 18th century Jesuit college that used to exist in Poznan. And what it's for now, it's the seat of the local City Council. So the President of Poznan, this is where he has his offices, and all the different kind of administration offices are here. So, in a few minutes, I've got a date for a very important trip and somebody's going to show me all around this wonderful place. Let's go. So, I've now finished my trip, and that was an hour of some of the most fantastic information, interesting stuff that I've heard. And what I didn't know, and what you should know, is some very, very famous people indeed have stayed in this building. Napoleon Bonaparte, for example, the French general, he spent some time here in the autumn of 1806 as part of his campaign through Europe, which ended in Russia, and we all know how that ended. Frédéric Chopin, also the famous pianist, he spent a lot of time here when he had dealings with the Prussian government, and the Prussian government were the people who were in charge of this part of Poland for a long time during the late 18th century, 19th century. But, you know, Napoleon Bonaparte, he's quite famous. Frédéric Chopin, he's quite famous. The most famous person who spent time here is Margaret Thatcher, everybody's favourite former British Prime Minister. Now, Margaret Thatcher, she was visiting here in 1990, just after the Berlin Wall had fallen, the new system had arrived in Poland, and over at the other side of the building there are some very, very interesting stairs, because the stairs are slightly different heights. And poor Margaret, when she was entering the building, she tripped over and she laddered her tights. And you know, for women this is a terrible thing, they can't have an official engagement with laddered tights. So what they did, they sent some security guards out to buy some new tights for her. Now this would be no problem. There's shopping centres all over the city open until late. But in 1990, this was still just after the communist system, there were just a few kiosks that were already closed at this time. So basically they had to open up some kiosk, and some guy, really surprised, we need to buy tights for Margaret Thatcher. He didn't believe them, of course, but they managed to get the tights, brought them back, and Margaret changed her tights on the steps and had her official engagement with the President of Poznan. So really, really nice, interesting stories. And the most important thing, probably even more important than Margaret Thatcher, is I won a t-shirt as well. Okay, so they were giving away nice prizes if you answered questions, and I answered a question about Napoleon Bonaparte. So if you're around Poznan this time next year, I'm sure they're going to do the same thing again, and I can thoroughly recommend these little trips to see the brands of Poznan.